It is my honor to present the last award of the evening. But before that, I want to share a few thoughts. Homecoming. What a beautiful word. You have come home to Millikin, to a place and people who are different from what you knew. Changed, and at the same time, the same. And yet, you have changed as well. I'm a lover of film, and for many years I taught film. An underrated movie is Steven Spielberg's Hook. It's the retelling of the Peter Pan story from the point of view of Peter when he's a middle-aged man. And he's played by Robin Williams. He's called back to Never Never Land to rescue people again from, and his own children actually, to rescue his own children from the evil Captain Hook. But of course, played by Robin Williams, he's middle-aged, he's heavy, he doesn't look like Peter Pan. And he arrives, and none of the lost boys who haven't changed will believe that he's Peter Pan. One says, "Can't fly, can't fight, you're no Pan." And all the other boys scatter from him. One little child comes up, pushes back the heavy cheeks, and says, "Ah, there you are, Peter. There you are." This weekend, as we look at one another, we might say again, "Ah, there you are. I recognize you, my old friend, my classmate, my pal." And we also say to one another, "Ah, there you are, Millikin," as all of you have described your experience here. All of you have said, "Ah, that was what Millikin was about. That was Millikin for me." And even if we are meeting people, as I am tonight, whom we have not met before, we discover in one another, and especially in the people we honor tonight, not just good old Millikin, but Millikin's best imagination of ourselves, our highest aspirations of what great things this great university and its alumni have accomplished, and what we have yet to do together. You want to know what a university values? Notice whom they honor. Notice whom we honor tonight. Ah, there you are, Millikin. You honored guests bring home with you this evening a great gift to your alma mater, the great gift of courage. For as we say, "Ah, there you are, Millikin," we also say, "Ah, this is what Millikin can become. This is what we must become to be worthy of the loyalty and dedication of all of you in the room tonight." For homecoming is a gerund. I'm an English teacher. Homecoming is a gerund, a progressive word. Constantly becoming. You are always coming home to an ever better and stronger Millikin, made so by your deeds and by your generosity. Welcome home. Welcome to the continuing journey of coming home and knowing this great place for the first time. In that light, the last award of the evening is a very special presentation indeed. Would Michael Waller, class of 1963, please come forward? The Alumnus of the Year Award recognizes service to the university during the past year, as well as continuous service throughout the years. This award is the highest alumni honor presented by the university. Tonight's Alumnus of the Year honoree has demonstrated years of commitment and dedication to this great university, both through service and financial support. Mike Waller served on Millikin's board of directors for 10 years and is now an emeritus trustee. When his term on the board ended in 2010, he re-upped his service by volunteering to co-chair the Transform MU Capital Campaign Steering Committee. This ambitious capital campaign was launched in 2010 with the goal of raising $85 million to transform outdated buildings, support scholarships and the Millikin Fund, and provide for endowment and infrastructure needs and support faculty excellence. Under this able leadership of Mike Waller and his co-chair, Dr. Stephen Huss, more than $70 million to this goal has been raised to date. Mike also has served as the National Millikin Fund Chair since 2006, and this year he has shared chairmanship duties with Dr. Huss. This seems to be a very successful fundraising team, don't you think? Mike's impressive journalistic career has its roots in Decatur, since he started working at the Decatur Herald newspaper while still a Millikin student. You can read about his career in detail in tonight's program, but I would like to point out a few highlights. You'll note a common thread, the Pulitzer Prize. While working for the Louisville Courier-Journal and Louisville Times in the late 60s and 70s, he assisted with 2 Pulitzer Prize-winning stories. While he was managing editor of the Kansas City Star, he edited coverage of the 1981 skywalk collapse at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which took 115 lives. The paper's coverage of that tragedy earned another Pulitzer Prize. While he served as editor of the Hartford Courant in the 90s, the paper won its first Pulitzer. In 1997, Mike was named publisher and CEO of the Baltimore Sun. During his tenure, the Sun earned 2 Pulitzers. And if you permit me an aside, as a longtime English professor and for 14 years an advisor to campus newspapers and a teacher of journalism, I read the names of these papers, Mike, with great reverence. Kansas City Star had a young cub reporter once named Ernie Hemingway. Louisville Courier-Journal, a legendary paper. The Baltimore Sun, the paper of H.L. Mencken and Louis Rukeyser. And the Hartford Courant, which continues to describe itself as one of the oldest newspapers in America. These papers are in the pantheon of American press, and Mike Waller served and led all of them. In each of these places, as is clear from the biography, Mike raised each of these fine papers to yet another high level and retired from the Baltimore Sun in 2002. Mike received Millikin's Alumni Merit Award in 1987 in recognition of his already impressive journalistic career, and the Delta Sigma Phi National Fraternity honored him with its Lifetime Achievement Award in 2002. This homecoming, Mike celebrates his 50th Millikin class reunion, and I am honored to be able to make this special time shine even brighter with this award. Mike Waller is one of those who have given so much to this university. Generations of students will benefit from his service and his commitment to his alma mater. Michael's name now appears on the H. Ray Myers Alumnus of the Year trophy, which is sitting here on the stage, along with past award recipients. It is with deep respect for his outstanding example of dedicated to support to Millikin University and on behalf of the gratitude of everyone in this room and everyone connected to Millikin. I want to honor you, Michael, for your distinguished career as I present the 2013 Alumnus of the Year Award to you.
When Jan DeVore called me, it wasn't May. I thought it was just 2 weeks ago. But anyway, she called me and told me I was Alumnus of the Year, and I said, "You must have the wrong number." Speaking of Jan DeVore, have you ever seen anyone at Millikin University have more retirement parties? You know, she retired in July. And it's October and they're still throwing parties. I was shocked to read the program that there's only one party this weekend. Let me first thank the Alumni Association. It indeed is a great honor to receive this award. And I've got a few people I want to thank. Let's start off with Delta Sigma Phi fraternity. My fraternity brothers were always there to support me when I was at Millikin, especially if it involved fermented beverages. I want to thank Coach Don Schroyer. I was a basketball and baseball player, and Coach Schroyer was a football coach, but after a few semesters at Millikin, I, unlike the other recipients, didn't really do that well in the classroom and lost my financial aid. Schroyer straightened me out immediately. I was getting ready to maybe go into the armed forces, and he gave me a good kick in the pants and urged me to stay in school. Had that not happened, I wouldn't be here tonight. I'd also like to thank Tony Chamblin, another Delta Sig, who almost simultaneously after Schroyer talked to me, came to me and said he was leaving a sports position up at the Decatur Herald, and I should go up and apply. I did, and got the job as a clerk in the sports department of the Decatur Herald. Lo and behold, it led to a 42-year career in newspapers. I'd also thank Dr. Daniel Gage, professor of history and head of the history department, who finally made something exciting in a classroom and taught me that it was okay to open a textbook and actually read it. I also would like to thank Wayne Krause. Wayne Krause for years was the vice president of development at Millikin, and since myself and a few of my buddies were occasionally in some kind of jam at Millikin, it was always Wayne Krause who bailed us out. And then finally, I want to thank Bob Falstrom. He was my first boss, and he taught me the very beginning basics of newspapering. And that would have been in 1961. Now here we are 53 years later, and Falstrom is still writing a column on the features section, and in fact was already at the paper, I think, about 15 years by the time I arrived. And so, the best I can tell, Falstrom has spent about 3 lifetimes at the Decatur Herald. Unbelievable. And finally, I close and sincerely thank the Alumni Association. They must have had a lot of good choices, but somehow the needle fell to my name, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much.